the Emancipation Proclamation at its time, for its time, appeared to be quite revolutionary. It could authorize the raising of a black army. In fact, my great-grandfather joined the 116th Colored Infantry as a result of the Emancipation Proclamation. However, living in Kentucky with my great-grandmother and my great-aunt, their one child, they weren't freed by the document. Missouri, Delaware, Kentucky, any area where Union troops held sway, well, that was an area where blacks weren't freed. So it was quite a interesting document. But the people of the time, such as Frederick Douglass, the document was accorded greater significance than it deserves. And that was probably good because it gave people hope. But it did not say everyone is free and we are going to employ means to ensure that they will be free. I had relatives beyond my great-grandfather who fought in the Union Army. So he's the commander-in-chief to me, and that's very important. He did support black troops once they put on the uniform. That's important. Then it's important to remember that he pushed for passage of the 13th Amendment and protection of black troops once they were in the field. Lincoln did act decisively, though, in pursuing passage of the 13th Amendment. He deserves credit for pursuing that end. And he used all type of methods to get the necessary votes in Congress to pass the law. And then he applied pressure before his death on the states to consider passage of the 13th Amendment. He deserves credit for that. That was his legacy, and he was aware of that.
There was a young man, probably 10, who asked George about Gettysburg Address. And it was one of the most moving, I've worked with George now for over 11 years, and it was one of the most moving experiences I've ever experienced as a performer. And I've performed for 40 years now. Watching George as Lincoln talk to him of why the Gettysburg Address was so important and why it was presented, and watching that young man with just this look in his eye of love and respect. And that's why you do it. If you can grab people, that's why you do it.
I think even today at Elmhurst, coming across the parking lot, a younger couple got out of their vehicle, ran across the parking lot to have their picture taken. And that was what they wanted. And they wanted to have that interaction. And they knew Lincoln and they knew Douglass, and they said, we've been waiting. So I think there's something tangible in having that firsthand experience with the personages of Lincoln and Douglass.